Welcome back to Chasing Rank. It's Damo_23, and we're here with another BenchBoost Game Week 1 draft. I'm also going to be discussing what my Game Week 2 wildcard will look like, so stick around to the end of the video to see that team there. Without further ado, we're going to get into it, but I have to mention this. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who has just recently followed along and has subscribed to the channel. The engagement's been brilliant. Our first live stream yesterday was a swimming success, and we're getting some solid views on the videos as well. The only way that we're going to improve this channel together is by leaving comments, feeding the algorithm, and I hope that you can do that by leaving one below this video today. With that being said, and without further ado, let's go see if my updated draft is better than the previous one. It's going to net us more points. More importantly, help me chase that rank and get inside that top 25k yet again for the second season in a row. Just briefly, going to explain the pros of a bench boost in Game Week 1. I'm also going to explain why I'm on the Game Week 2 wildcard strategy with this Game Week 1 bench boost and why I think it's superior to start the season on this type of strategy. Firstly, it's the only time that you can wildcard and play your bench boost at the same time. Unlimited transfers, have the bench ready to go. You can tinker and perfect your side to get the maximum amount of points to start the season. You can attack all the good Game Week 1 fixtures, and a lot of these sides have poor Game Week 2 fixtures. So what that means is you can get the most amount of points in Game Week 1, wildcard in Game Week 2, and whilst people are planning for the fixture swings in 13, you've got a team that is really solid from 2 onwards. You can bank up all those 5 transfers, and when they get to 13 and wildcard, you can probably have a mini wildcard up your sleeve as well. And lucky last, you get to start on top of your mini leagues and you get a pretty good overall rank if you nail it. And I think that just is a beautiful way to start FPL. Get on the front foot, get that confidence flowing, make sure that you know that it's going to be all right. And look, if you start off really well and you're able to keep that momentum going through the early weeks, you can really set up for a fantastic year. And here at Chasing Rank, it's all about trying to maximize your highest scores and maximize where you'll finish at the end of the season. And if that means it's a Game Week Bench Boost 1, then guess what? I'm all here for it. And let's get into this draft because we have made some changes since we went through this last time. In goals, same as last time, I have Sanchez and Verbruggen. I haven't found a combination in my tinkering that is going to offer more points. So with that said, the same 2 goalkeepers as the last draft. Crystal Palace at home, fantastic fixture for a Chelsea defence that's highly improved. And Verbruggen has the best fixture for the 4.5 million goalkeepers for Game Week number 1. I think if you are starting to look at the 5.5 mil keepers and combine both, you're probably putting too much money into the goalkeeper position and not being able to spread the funds enough around in the back 5, the midfield 5, and the front 3 that you will have to choose because you're on the bench boost. You need all 15 players to play. Your back 5 for the bench boost draft is as followed. Virgil van Dijk against Bournemouth at home, Romero against Burnley at home, Wan-Bissaka against Sunderland away, De Kuyper against Fulham at home, and your doggy against Burnley at home. Obviously, there's 2 changes there to my previous draft, and I'm going to start with the 3 players that remain in the team, and that is Wan-Bissaka, De Kuyper, and your doggy. As mentioned previously, Wan-Bissaka is pretty good for defensive contributions and gets forward as well. Not as a rate as like a Manoz, but decent, good fixture as well, Sunderland away. De Kuyper has arguably one of the better fixtures for the 4.5 million defenders. And Destiny Udogie has arguably the best fixture for the 4.5 million defenders at home to Burnley. On top of that as well, he was fairly attacking in the recent friendly for Spurs, so he's one that I have earmarked to be in this side, barring any injuries, etc. Let's go through the 2 changes. Firstly, Virgil van Dijk has come in instead of Kerkez, and one of the big themes that came through on the live stream was my team, as much as it was exciting, doesn't have enough nailed on minutes, and when you're on a bench boost, you want everyone to be playing. And that's a fair shout. Yes, the team was exciting, but This will give us more security in minutes. Same for Romero as well. I made a downgrade here to get him in. Another great fixture. I was doubling up with Pedro Porro, as you remembered, but to squeeze the 0.5 million elsewhere, Romero is going to be good for defensive contributions. They're likely going to keep a clean sheet, and as we've seen plenty of times last season, doesn't mind getting in the box and scoring a headed goal. So I've gone with a couple more centre backs, playing into those defensive contribution points, and still having the attacking threat in the players with some really good fixtures. Your midfield 5 for the draft is as follows. It's Suller at home against Bournemouth. It's Palmer at home to Palace. Anderson at home to Brentford. Minte at home to Fulham. And NDA away to Leeds. 3 players remain, and another 2 have come into this draft as well. Let's talk about the ones that remain before we get into the talking point, which is Cole Palmer. Suller's a no-brainer. He's going to be nailed in this draft no matter what tinkering I do, and he will be captain come game week 1. I mentioned it last draft video as well. A lot to play for Liverpool in this opening game. I think it's going to be one where we're going to come flying out the blocks, being a Liverpool fan, and I just see a world where we go and score 4, 5, 6 goals in this opening day. So getting Suller involved is definitely a priority. We've also still got Minte and NDA in the team as well. Minte's got the best fixtures for a 6 million. Hub loves him as well, and he seems to be more nailed on for minutes. He's a very talented footballer, passes the eye test, and on his day, he can go and get a bag full of points. NDA has a great fixture and Leeds away. He's also going to be on penalties for Everton by all reports. So yet again, nailed on, got minutes, got penalties, exactly what you want for a 1 game week on the bench on your bench boost. The 2 players that have come in, though, is Cole Palmer and Elliot Anderson. Now, Cole Palmer, I'm finding it a lot harder to not put him in any of my drafts. Crystal Palace at home is a great fixture. He'll be involved with absolutely everything that Chelsea do, and he's just a very good footballer. He could go absolutely nuclear on the opening day, and I'll want a piece of that if I'm trying to start the season off on the strongest foot. Elliot Anderson for 5.5 million frees up some extra money in this draft for the front 3. And what that allows me to do for Elliot Anderson is play him in a fixture where he's going to be on the pitch for 90, taking set pieces, and he is a defensive contribution mastermind. He is one of the highest rated players for midfielders getting defensive contributions, and this leaves him with lots of routes to points, and I think this is a much better pick than the Souček pick I had in my draft last time. So the front 3 for the team has changed slightly. You've got now Wood playing against Brentford at home, Bowen is still in the squad against Sunderland away, and Solanke against Burnley at home. So the slight changes here is I've removed Ekitike and Joe Pedro out for Wood and Solanke. And let me explain as to why. As much as I think Ekitike starts, you don't want to take that risk. You also know that Chris Wood is going to be nailed on. And against Brentford, who've had a lot of people going out of the squad and could be a little bit unsettled, I think this is a prime fixture for him to go and nab a couple of goals in. Also think Solanke has the best opening day fixture, and it's a no-brainer to remove Joao Pedro, who could be a slight minutes risk for the opening day, even though I think he starts as well, and get Solanke in, who will definitely be starting on the opening day, barring any injuries in pre-season, against a Burnley at-home side. With that being said, I think this makes our bench boost a lot more stable for minutes, and it leaves me with no real selection headaches in terms of on the deadline sweating any team lineups. So for the audio viewers, because there is a few of you that are probably watching this in the background, this is the team in full, and then I'll cut away and come back when I've prepared the Game Week 2 wildcard, and I'll show you my team and Game Week ratings. The team is as followed. Sanchez and Verbruggen are your 2 goalkeepers. Virgil van Dijk, Romero, Wan-Bissaka, De Kuyper, and your doggy are your back 5. Your midfield 5 is Salah, Palmer, Anderson, Minte, and NDA. And you've got Chris Wood, Jared Bowen, and Solanke as your front 3. So the team is all loaded, and I have got the wildcard team loaded as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly break down what the bench boost is going to score, why it's rated, what it's rated, how many points I predict, and then we'll get into why I have built the said wildcard draft that I'm going to show you as well. We predicted 97 team rating, but that's because I have obviously got the wildcard draft prepared as well, so it's taking that into consideration. And the game week rating's 96, which is very high, 65 points predicted. Would snap your hand off for that right now if the team could give me that. Now, as we did in the last video, let's try and predict the bench boost points because, that's a bit of fun, right? And see if you get close to it or if not. We gave Verbruggen, De Kuyper, and Udogie 6 points each because they were all on my bench last time. Clean sheet, but we don't know if they're going to get defensive contributions or attacking returns. So let's just give them all 6, and that's 18 points. I tell you right now, if I ended on 18 points for the bench boost, I would be over the moon. Thank you very much. But let's go and predict that we get 18 points from those three. Now you get NDA on the bench, who was starting last time out in the last draft, and it's hard to predict points here as well. So he's either going to get 2 points for 90 minutes, or he's going to get 6 points with an attacking return, or even more with bonus, etc. Hopefully he takes a penalty. It's hard to predict. So let's meet in the middle and just predict 4 points between the 2 and 6 points that he could get. And that gives you 22 potential points to add on to the 65, which is 87. And if we get to 87 points in game week 1, you've perfected your bench boost, you have started the season strong, you're likely going to be top in your mini leagues, you're likely going to be very high in the overall rank, and you're going to be in a fantastic position to attack the future game weeks with a wildcard 2 draft. And the reason why you go wildcard 2 draft is because you got Romero playing City, same with Solanke, same with Udogie. You got both goalkeepers playing away from home in tricky fixtures for both defenses. You got Wan-Bissaka playing against Chelsea. You see straight off the bat, you've got a lot of problems in the side. You got Bowen even playing against Chelsea at home, even if he could score, who knows, but a hard fixture. So you're going to need a wild card in game week 2 if you're looking to maximize the points in game week 1. But what I've done is I've created a wild card in game week 2 that looks fantastic. That is going to be flexible enough for you to roll a lot of transfers. And look, I've planned it out to game week 14. However, you don't have to. And I would say I'm probably going to make a transfer before game week 14 anyway. But what I'm going to do in this next little section, we're going to go through that game week wildcard 2 draft. Game week 2 wildcard draft, apologies. And we're going to discuss why I like it, why I think this strategy is fantastic, and also the flexibility that this team offers. So very quickly, as promised, my wildcard 2 draft is on screen right now. I'm going to run through the team very quickly. I'm going to give you guys 8 weeks of optimized game data here very quickly as well. And even past the game week 8, there's some game weeks like game weeks 12 and 14 where this team gets a 95% game week rating. But yeah, look, the team itself is Petrovic in goals, Gabriel Leroux and Virgil van Dijk at the back. 3 defenders that are going to be good for clean sheets, and 2 of the 3 that are really good for contributions, which is Leroux, who was the best for in the Prem last year, and Virgil van Dijk. These are 3 defenders you can play in every game week, but as you can tell on my bench, I've got Esteves and Mascara. One is a 4.0 playing defender that has some pretty good data from the championship, and one is playing for a Wolves team that has some pretty decent fixtures that swap in decently well with this draft. This could be Agadou or anyone else. I haven't looked into too much of the Wolves data, just a placeholder really. But yeah, look, that's the defense and the keepers. I've got data on the 4.0 option as well. Let's get in the midfield because this is going to start some debate. But I've got Mohamed Salah, great. Semenyo, think it's great cover for Bournemouth. They've got some great fixtures. He's going to be nailed. He's a shot merchant. He's going to be good for bonus. Bruno Fernandes, I'll get to him in a second. Elliot Anderson, I've mentioned it before. This guy's a contribution magician, so he's going to get a lot of points. And you got Morgan Rogers on the bench as well, who Villa have great fixtures. Watkins could be leaving, and with that all being said, I think this getting Rodgers in, who is only going to get better with his age, makes, the most amount of sense. Let's talk Bruno very quickly here because he's going to start a lot of debate. Why Bruno Fernandes? He burned a lot of people last year. I didn't own him once last season. I barely have owned Bruno at all. But what I will say about Bruno Fernandes is that he's going to average close to 10 contributions per game defensively. So that's an extra 2 points. If United keep a clean sheet, which could happen, that's an extra point that he's going to get. And he's really attacking. And you might be thinking he underperformed a lot last year. He still got 20 contributions, 12 assists, 8 goals. And that's with a lot less talent that is playing up front for United right now with Mbeumo and Cunha. I just see a world where this guy is going to get quite a lot of points. And then the front 3 is Gyökeres, Alvarez, I think, is incredible. If you're on a Game Week 2 wildcard, you have to get him in against Leeds. You got Raul Jimenez because he has some pretty good fixtures at Fulham. However, I am monitoring the Wizard situation because if he leaves, Thiago's going to be on penalties and nailed for Brentford for 6 million. Muniz goes to Leeds, that could be an option too. And Chris Wood stays in the draft for now, but this could be any of the 7.5 millions that you feel like putting in because they're all very good at what they do. So that's a pretty good team there. And as promised, I'll give you the game week data. You know, game week 2, it's 92. Game week 3, it's 91. And Mascara coming in with some of the rotation there. In game week 4, it's 94. In game week 5, all of a sudden you're getting a 96 rating. And this is without a transfer. In game week 6, it's the worst it looks. And that's because I'm benching Raul to play Rodgers in the same fixture, even though Hub prefers it the other way around, or else it would be a 90%. But if that's your worst game week, and it's game week 6, you haven't made a transfer, you're already up to 4 to 5 transfers that have been rolled and saved. And what I would say about all of that as well is, yes, injuries are a thing and suspensions. You can still manage that because you have a deep bench with this team. And then in game week 7, you get a 92%. And in game week 8, you get a 98%. And if you get to game week 8 without making a transfer, as per what I said this strategy should be looking like, is game week 1, get the most amount of points with the bench boost. Game week 2, wildcard into a team that gives you flexibility in the players that you can swap in and out with. And by game week 8, even though this team does really well post game week 8, you get your 5 free transfers. So then you're able to be as flexible, but not totally as flexible as those that held their wild card to game week 13. With that being said, that is my view of my updated bench boost draft. Let me know in the comment section down below if you have enjoyed the video and you like the strategy. I know it's slightly different. I'm usually a lot safer of an FPL manager. However, what I will say about this should be a lot of fun and maximize those points at the start of the season and really give us a leg up to really go and chase that rank. With that being said, I'll catch you guys later. Have a great one, and until next time, catch you later. Bye.